Alright, shalom, shalom. Brother Kowal, we're here again to another lesson by the Spirit and power of YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI. So first and foremost, I'd like to begin by giving all praises, glory, and honor unto YAHAWAH, Bahasham YAHAWASHI, Bahasham Harakah Kadash, giving double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, or teachers that surely do real well, pushing this doctrine in sincerity and in truth throughout the four corners of the earth, risking their lives to do so. I say shalom to you, shalom to the Akim by the hedges and highways, the prophets, teachers, and apostles out there. I say shalom to you, shalom to the Akwat sitting and listening in silence, to their husbands, I say the law, shalom to the speckled foreigners, to the elect of Israel out there, shalom labakaria. I'd like to begin this lesson first and foremost with the book of Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 6. It says, I'll start from 5. It says, trust in Yahawah with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Someone had to run to horoscope. In Trinidad, they want to go by Mother Connacht. They want to go by the peace and the pastor. Yahawah Basham Yahawashai. First and foremost, all praises, glory, and honor unto him. So, this precept sums it all up there. Acknowledge him in everything. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and he will direct your paths. My God, that is trust. I would start off with trust. Trusting in Yahweh Basham Yahawashai. Close your eyes and know that when you open it, everything will be alright. The scripture shows you, the scriptures clearly show you, that Yahweh Basham Yahawashai is in charge of everything. He never relinquished his power. He has never stepped down from his throne of glory. He has never stepped away from his power, his seat of power. He never stepped away from it. He has been in control since the beginning of time. And there is not a time that he will not be in control. All things have been made by him, good and evil. Scripture show you that these spirits, they will not transgress his word, but with great joy they will execute every command, and they will not pull away from them. They will not turn away from the command of Yahweh Shem Yahweh. So when you know that he in charge of living, he in charge of the dying. So the Apostle Paul, I believe, you say it, to die is gain. Because if you should come and lose your life right now, you still already know who in charge of the living and the dead. And what's so yappa in this time right now? Because men who passing away, they're passing away knowing that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua in control. Before they left this earth and their spirit left their body to go back to him, they were brought back to the remembrance. As the scripture says in Baruch, they will remember, they will come back to remember themselves in their captivity, and they will call upon the name of the Lord. Right? The scripture talk about, I think it's in Genesis, the scripture says, and then in that time, men began to call upon the name of the Lord. Right? And so too, that is how it is, fulfilling, in the Malachi 4, 5 and 6, right? Where the Lord send the spirit of Elijah to return the hearts of the fathers to the children, the hearts of the children to the fathers. Unless he come and smite the earth with a curse. Right? I saw these men come to know. You wake back up these men. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord in the earth in these days. Calling upon the name of the Lord is the first thing, that's a foundational thing. That is the first thing I know. When I come to this truth, the first thing I got was the name of YAHAWASHI. What a blessed day, what a yappa experience. I will always go back to that and remember to what YAHAWASHI. That first love, knowing the name of YAHAWASHI. Woo! Tawada. And now I've come to know of all the knowledge and wisdom that I've come to know so far, and as little as it is sufficient. The sufficiency of it, I give thanks and I trust in Yahweh Bashem Yashai. And He's been leading my ways since then. He's been directing my path since then. Proverbs chapter 3. No, I already the 3 and 5, right? So I want to go to I'm gonna try Luke 9. It says, No man, and Yahawashai said unto him, No man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom. So to tie that into it, to understand is from the time you not trusting in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you turn away. You turn away from fearing Him, you turn away from His understanding, you turn away from His guidance, because the scripture said there. The scripture said that He will direct your path. He ain't going to direct your path in a blind way. He will give you the understanding and help you understand the path that you're on. But what the scripture talk about? A man that wandered out of the way of the understanding of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, roughly paraphrasing, shall remain in the congregation of the dead. Yeah, so you don't dead already. That's why the scripture say here. He said you he's not you're not fit for the kingdom. Any man that take the having put his hand to this plow and looking back, you're not fit for the kingdom. And is that is not what making you not fit for the kingdom, you know. All it don't get twisted. The fact that you're not fit for the kingdom is why you turn your hand back from the plow. A man that is fit for the kingdom will never turn his hand back from the plow, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how weary you become. Because the scripture talks about affliction, you know. We'll be afflicted. We will need that direction from Yahweh Hashem Yashai. We would need to learn to trust in Yahweh Hashem Yashai. Because we can't understand our ways. And always there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the way thereof is what? Death, destruction. It have no way that you would be able to walk out of the understanding of Yahweh Hashem Yahshai and find your way straight back into His kingdom. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh. Scripture says the deceive and the deceiver are His. So if you've been deceived, it's because the Lord deceived you and caused you to go off that way. And if you deceive anybody as well, it's because the Lord caused you to deceive that man. When the scripture talk about he that breaketh the least of these commandments and teach others to do so shall be called least in the kingdom. And he that does and teaches others to do so, the same shall be called great. So that fitness for the kingdom we speaking about, the scripture says that all Israel be saved. The scripture says Israel be saved with an everlasting salvation. You shall not be ashamed nor confounded without end. So there is ready for Israelites. But you see, is that first resurrection. You see that salvation that is to come, where the Lord say, come up hither. When the Lord take up His men with Him and say, He say, stay with me until, the indignation be overpassed. salvation we're talking about. That is the one that you're missing. That first fruit experience. The elect. Tawada Yahawah Shem Yahushai. The elect is a special a yappa special unique fruit. Scripture say, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Had it not been for the elect, if the Lord didn't leave out but a remnant, right? Many are called, but few are chosen, few are elected, right? The Lord don't need no, the Lord doesn't only deal with it with fewer numbers. The Lord is deal with small amounts of concentration. A little goes a long way. The Lord talk about if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, a tiny mustard seed is going to have big tree. Small thing but big effects. The Lord say we go be like the salt of the earth. Salt is just a little pinch of salt could bring flavor, enhance the flavor and the taste of a butter food. So the Lord has created a people that is able to affect many with just a little. That is the power of Yahawah Shem Yahushai. You can't box in the power of Yahawah Shem Yahushai at all. The Yahawah Shem Yahushai is even greater than what I expressed there. But how you could be able to experience it if you don't trust in Him? Right? Let's go to Matthew chapter 26 and verse 41. Right. Scripture says here, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Hey, you see what that scripture say? The scripture say the flesh is willing, the spirit is willing, Salah. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Watch and pray. Don't just watch. Continue to pray. Cry out to Yahawah Shem Yahushai. Seek His counsel. Trust in Him. Trust that He will keep you from that day of temptation. Because you don't know what you could do without Yahawah Shem Yahushai. You don't know. You can't blindly trust in Yahawah Shem Yahushai. Trusting in Yahawah Shem Yahushai entails some actions to back it up. That is your faith. Faith without works is dead. You have to be able to show your trust and your faith in Yahawah Shem Yahushai by the things that you do, by the things that you don't do. It will be exemplified. The manifestations of your faith will show in not just what you say, but also what you do and how you do it as well. Because you have to do it with diligence, the scriptures say. Right? So what Yahawah Shem Yahushai, the scripture say, but the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So the flesh you would give in to temptation. You don't know when or how or if you would give in to temptation, if not by the spirit and power of Yahawah Shem Yahushai. How you go give into it? How you go bend to the will of Esau when Esau come down on you? Right? Isaiah 59 and 19. Right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 59 and verse 19. It say, so shall they fear the name of Yahawah Shem Yahushai from the west, and His glory from the rising of the sun from the east. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahawah Shem Yahushai shall lift up a standard against him. Why the Lord lifting up a standard? Hmm? How the Lord know that his standard had to be set here? Because the Lord set it to be. That his standard will be lifted for the men that calling on his name, that trusting in him, that walking in faith. You see, Sirach chapter 2, I love this precept. It said, look at the generations of old and see. Did ever any trust in YAHAWASHI and was confounded? Check back and see. Look back to any of the great names and the great men that you know have been recorded and been preached and taught and renowned throughout the earth from generation to generation, that have been renowned as men of the Lord, men of Yahawah, men that walked after his law, statutes, and commandments, that have experienced atrocities and judgments in the earth. Look back and see if any of these men going through what they've been through and had to have been proven by the Lord, by their trust and their faith in him, and if they've been confounded, if they've been set to naught. Look back and see. Which man that did they say could I say that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai failed them? Yahweh forbid. It have none. Did ever any trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? The scripture says, shall be well. Hey, I have to get. Right? I love to go to this precept to show that. Right? Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 12 and 13. Right? It says here, though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet I know that it shall be well with them that fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not power. He doesn't fear before Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of understanding. Fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and live. The scriptures say to fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and keep his commandments. That's the whole duty of man. The scriptures say, whom did he ever despise that called upon him? The scripture said, the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is a strong tower, the righteous runneth into it and are safe. The name of the Lord is dreadful among the heathen. So salvation has always been for Israel. It's only an Israelite will call upon the name of the Lord. It is, boy. I think it's in 2nd Esdras. Let's see if I find that. 2nd Esdras 3. Yeah. Hey. Alright, so we can then write the entry. 2nd Esdras chapter 3. I read from verse 30. It's always there, but you can't read this part of 2nd Esdras 3 and then start from, just go from, the last verse now. And start from verse 30. It says, for I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, and hast spared wicked doers. The Lord leave ye people sinning, and spare the wicked doers, and has destroyed thy people, and has preserved their enemies, and has not signified it. You ain't explain to me why, what going on here? What is this? Why this happening? I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon better than they of Zion? That's a rhetorical question. No, but the way it looking now, but with the scripture say the Lord say in Malachi 1 and verse 3, From verse 1 going down, the Lord say he loved Jacob and he hated Esau. But wherein hast thou said you love me? Because we seeing the enemy getting away, the enemy being preserved here, the scripture say. The scripture say in verse 32 here, or is there any other people that knoweth thee besides Israel? Or what generation had so believed thy covenants as Jacob? Who has ever trusted in your Lord? Who ever trusted in Yahweh Bashem Yoshai? But Jacob, but Israel. And yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor hath no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandments. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness in the balance, and theirs also that dwell in the world, and so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. Tawadaya Basham Yoshai. The righteous runneth into it and are safe. The name, or that when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept your commandments? Thou shalt find that Israel by name hath kept thy precepts, and not the heathen. Tawadaya Basham Yoshai. So let this be an encouragement to you, Akim out there, the Akwat out there, to all of Israel. Continue to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yoshai. Even though shit might be looking like it's looking to hit the fan there, boy. Right? Things are a little difficult right now. I love how the Apostle Paul call it, yet this light affliction. Because soon we out of here. Right? I once met an elder, and the elder tell me, he said, don't worry, he said, we soon out of here, man. We out of here very soon. And so when that does happen, you will come to realize that, hey, yes, it was a light affliction. Because the scripture saying, Psalms, let me bring it out. Psalms 126, verse 1. When Yahweh Basham Yahushai turned again the captivity of Zion, we will like them that dream. Just gonna be like, you wake up from a nightmare. Right? This hell is over. It's no more. Tawadaya Basham Yahushai. Right? So I pray this lesson, will be edifying by the spirit and power of Yahweh Basham Yahushai. I give double honors to the first and foremost, I'd like to begin by giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashai, Bahasham Harakakadash, giving double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that surely do rule well, pushing this doctrine in sincerity and in truth, risking their lives to do so throughout the four corners of the earth, to the Akwat sitting and listening in silence to their husbands. I say shalom to you, to the Akim out there by the hedges and highways, pushing this doctrine in sincerity and in truth as well. I say shalom. This is Brother Kowalwa here again. Asha Shabbat saying shalom, shalom, labakariam, abad bubal.